All right, you guys, the numbers are in, and I am actually pretty surprised about these numbers. I am not shocked that WWE did better than AEW. However, the numbers for both did surprise me. So for AEW Dynamite, they did garner 609,000 total viewers, and that's actually down 25% from last week. That's horrible. And then for NXT, we got 921 thousand viewers, which is up 7.5 from last week. And that right there is not great either. I figured with them announcing all the star power coming on NXT, The Undertaker, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, they even announced that LA Knight was going to be a special guest referee. Jade Cargill had posted online a picture of her getting a call from Shawn Michaels. You know, little things like that that definitely would have people more interested to see. But to see that they pretty much hit around the numbers that they normally do and they went up only by 7%, it really showed me that um, they didn't do as much as they probably thought that they would have done by having all these people be part of the show to help boost up their ratings. It only went up by 7.5. What I did think that they were going to do was 1.5 million. That's what I thought they would be able to do in the ratings. And I thought that Dynamite would probably do 800, 900 range. So I'm really surprised to see that that was not the case for both. Now, what I do believe though is that Dynamite, their numbers are low, obviously for being on Tuesday night, and then it also shows something that people are not saying is that part of their audience are also WWE fans, and it's just that for Tuesday night they prefer to see NXT over Dynamite. And I know there's a lot of people who make it seem like the only people who watch AEW are just AEW fans, but that's not true. There are a lot of people like me that watch from all promotions, and I guess people just have to pick between which one they prefer. Now, out of everybody that I've personally asked what they were going to watch, everybody said either both at the same time or that they were going to watch NXT live and then watch Dynamite after. So that goes to show that more people still wanted to see NXT over Dynamite. And honestly, I saw a tweet from Tony Khan a couple of hours ago and something about whatever Vince McMahon allegations. Bro, put the phone down. What you should be doing is contacting whoever it is that's on your team. They can come in person or they can get on Zoom, and y'all need to get back to the drawing board. If I had to call people and tell them, hey, come to my freaking living room couch, let's talk about what we're going to do to fix this, that's what's going to happen. Not coming on Twitter and talking about more Vince McMahon allegations or whatever. That's not even important. Did you not see the numbers, Tony Khan? It's not looking good. So even though I'm surprised about how much lower AEW did, I still believe they had a really stacked card. They had some hiccups. Yes, I could not stand the match with Wardlow, Matt Sydal. That wasn't even a match. I actually did not like Edge's debut. I know what they were going for, but I just feel like the way it was executed, just it could have been so much better, way better than what it was. Before I do get in a little bit more details about NXT, I have to say I did a review on the Netflix documentary called Wrestlers, which is about OVW. And this is pretty much about OVW struggling with ratings and buy rates and all that stuff. And, they put themselves out there as a promotion. Now, for the most part, people know them to be a developmental territory for quite some time, especially when they did work with WWE. However, that's not the case right now. And they're crying about ratings or whatever and not doing well. After I watched the documentary, I don't remember if I said this on my review, but the reason why they're not doing well is because everyone on that documentary kept saying they want to go to WWE. How do you expect to get the best from your roster if they have eyes somewhere else? So in other words, OVW has always been a stepping stone to get into brighter lights somewhere else. And when I think about that, I'm like, that could be the case for AEW if they don't get their shit together. People are going to be like, well, AEW do got some, good numbers in a sense on a Wednesday night. If I get some exposure, that will help me to my quest to getting to WWE. And that's when things are going to be a problem. We see that case with Jade Cargill, who obviously did not get into WWE, which was her first, choice. And then she got into AEW, made somewhat of a name for herself, and now she's where she wants to be. I do believe that that probably was the plan all along for her, maybe, but that could also be the plan for other people in AEW as well, to get a chance to be out there, get people to know who they are and what they're about. But ultimately, the goal is to go to clearer waters in the WWE. And I can totally see that being the case for quite a few people that are already over there, minus the people that's already been there and done that bullshit over there in WWE. And that's pretty alarming because I use the OVW comparison because I don't believe that they will ever be successful as a promotion if people are looking at them just to get over to go somewhere else. And, that could possibly be the case for AEW in the long run. And I really hope that's not the case because, I don't look at AEW as competition to WWE, but it is an alternative. And for whatever reason, Tony Khan is looking at what they can do to beat WWE. And I think that's really foolish for a company that's 4 years old. WWE has been around 65 years more than them. So they've been there, done that. They fucked up, they've done well, they fucked up and done well again, over and over again. And right now is not the time to be looking to compete. Now, I know there we're on Tuesday night because on Wednesday there's whatever sport that is better than pro wrestling, apparently. So I do believe that we may even see another Tuesday night show within the next few months. I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen. But what I think AEW should be doing is focusing on telling phenomenal stories and building stars. And it just seems like regardless of who they had wrestling, they had some really great matches and some names that you look and you're like, oh shit, I'm watching that. But it just wasn't enough to grab more people or just as much people that are watching NXT. And that really, really sucks to see how low they did. Um, I just don't know. Tony Khan needs to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do. Like they need help from anybody. I know Tony likes to say that everything's a final decision for him to make or whatever, but obviously the decisions that he's making is just not good enough to be where he thinks he's at when it comes to this war with WWE. So real quick, I'm just going to say what I actually preferred with NXT compared to Dynamite last night. Now I watched it after I did my review, just trying to see like, is it better? It's all based off opinion. Some people probably who watch both would say one is better than the other or whatever. But I think both shows had hit and misses. What I did enjoy from NXT more was the smaller, intimate crowd. Them having a smaller crowd really was great for a visual presentation in terms of it looks fuller and also the crowd is super engaged and that's what I like and it gave a really fun vibe with that. Now, I've been to WrestleManias, I've been to Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage. I've been to small wrestling school where there was barely like 20 of us sitting there watching the show. And I always prefer the smaller crowds because they're so much more engaged. They're more appreciative of what's in front of them. And I really like that vibe with NXT last night. And it just looked so much more fun compared to Dynamite with a bigger attendance, but not as much engaged fans watching. I hate that actually. I just don't understand why people go to a wrestling show and just sit there. I have never left a wrestling show and was able to talk. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, another thing that is visually apparent is NXT got better lighting. Okay, if you were flipping between both channels and you had to choose, you're going to go based off of what you see visibly, and the lighting is just so much better. I don't know what it is with Dynamite, but it looks a little dark and kind of foggy at times. Even Collision have better lighting than Dynamite. So that's another thing too. So in terms of matches or whatever, some I enjoyed, some I didn't really care too much about. But what I did like overall, which surprised me, was the pub rules match. It wasn't the best match or anything, but they were giving something different compared to all the other matches from both shows. They gave us a gimmick match where it was like, okay, like this is a little bit more fun in terms of they have other elements to make this a little bit more intense and enjoyable for the fans to watch. So actually, after watching nothing but straight up one-on-one contests on AEW, it's just like it was great to see something different with that pub rules match, and I actually did enjoy it. Now, I also enjoyed John Cena being there. This dude is annoying to me. However, he comes out there, he gets the crowd engaged, everybody's happy to see him, and he's being his typical self. Now, when Braun Breaker comes out, they have an exchange. Now, they are kind of going at it here on the mic, and every time Braun is talking, the crowd is chanting bullshit. And every time they say that, they have to bleep the word shit. So while Braun is trying to talk over the crowd, you're kind of missing his message here a little bit because of the bleeps. But either way, it was still a great interaction. John Cena being his happy-go-lucky self, which we normally get, and he goes to go shake Braun's hand, and Braun decks him right in the forehead. And he's gonna go hit a spear, but John Cena catches him and gives him. Well, he's attempting to give him an attitude adjustment, but Braun breaks out of that. He's like, "Not today, buddy. Not today." To be honest, I would like to see these two guys in the ring in a match. It would be really cool to see. It was a great interaction, and the fans being really, really receptive of what's going on makes the moment feel so much better. And that's something that NXT definitely had over AEW. The crowd participation is so important, and I would not care if AEW do even smaller venues, as long as the crowd look like they into what they're watching. That really helps the product looks good. So in terms of that, NXT was looking so much better. So moving forward, I really do think that Tony Khan really needs to take a look at these numbers. Sometimes I feel like no matter what they do, Tony Khan is just going to be like, "Great job, guys. You guys did awesome." And you got to really look at it and just be like, "No, we didn't do awesome. We did okay, but we could do better." Rather than trying to focus on competing with another company that's obviously doing way better, they should be competing with themselves. Like, how do we do better than what we did before? What is it that we can do to have the people who love and watch us and support us, how to keep them more engaged, and then also how to get more fans along the way? That's what they should be focusing on, not trying to compete with any other company. Now, I still do believe in my eyes that they probably have a better roster than WWE, but they just don't know what to do with them. They need to have stories, really good stories to tell. And I do think with Dynamite last night, we got to see them trying to focus a little bit more on these stories, but it's just not enough to do that in just one night to really grab an audience. It was already too late to try to put that tactic out there. Now, moving forward, Tony Khan, he just got to do much better and just focus on what he's doing. I do think that if he keeps thinking about WWE as competition, he's going to end up losing everything. And that would be really sad to see. But I am kind of happy to see that between two companies, we had over 1.5 million people watching pro wrestling. That's something that I didn't think that I would be saying about two companies in one night. That's pretty cool. Yes, there's an even bigger war out there, which is the war between pro wrestling and all the other real sports. But either way, I did enjoy both shows, and that's what matters. Can you enjoy both of them? Yes, both of them are enjoyable. There doesn't even need to be a war between either of these companies. Fans, they can win by just having two great products to watch. But Tony Khan, you got to make some better choices moving on. Put that phone down unless you're calling people to help you make a better promotion. Guys, thanks for watching my video. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor. Bye.